Hello, Hofstra fans. Welcome to the WB Mason Coaches Report right here on GoHofstra.com. I'm PJ Potter here with the head coach of the Hofstra baseball team, John Russo. Coach, how's everything going?
Good, going good, PJ.
3 games this weekend, down in Delaware. Lost each one of those. Overall thoughts on the series?
I thought Delaware was a really good team, and any weekend in the CAA is tough. We didn't pitch the ball as well as we should have. I thought we had too many walks on the weekend. It was like 30-some walks, and against a team that was leading our conference in hitting and pitching coming into the weekend, I thought we gave them too much. And we competed. I thought we competed well for 3 games and gave good effort. They just had a good team, and we suffered a couple injuries on the weekend that hurt us overall, and it was a tough weekend.
Stephen Foster staying red hot, 9 hits on the weekend, jumping his average to over 360. What's different in his approach at the plate, considering last year he was about 90 points below what he's at now?
I feel like he had the really good freshman year, and then like last year he struggled some, but at the end of the day he was almost a 300 hitter, so considering hitting 300 is almost struggling, so good of how much his ability is. So I think Steven's doing what we all think Steven can, what Steven thinks he can do. I think the thing I'm more impressed with is his 13 doubles on the year. He's hitting the ball with a little more authority right now, and even Sunday he had the 2 doubles off the wall. It could have been 2 home runs, and he's swinging the bat really well. He's got a lot of confidence. He's as good of a leadoff hitter as there is in the CAA, or maybe even in like Division I baseball right now. I mean, he does it all.
2 of David Lederman's 7 hits on the weekend were home runs. He's really starting to turn it around. How much does it mean to have him back?
I thought he got really hot during the midweek game and then carried it on into the weekend. And like you said, he got the 7 hits and the 2 homers, and really set a good tone to start games for us. They were early in the games and got us off to a good start. And I think he's had like 14 ribbies here in the last 3 weeks or something. He's starting to get really hot and be the guy that wanted to know, which is good. Like in the past, David had been hot earlier in the season and fallen off later in the season. So maybe he's just taking the course, and come CAA time, he's been dependable and swung the bat really well.
Hofstra's offense put together 35 hits on the weekend, still outscored 36-15. However, what do you think was still lacking?
You lose Reisner, who's leading you in RBIs, gets hurt on Friday night, and he's out the series. You miss Batari, who's out the weekend with a concussion. Those guys are as good, really good CAA hitters, and nothing against the backups, but they are the guys in the lineup, and we're swinging the bat over the last 10 games as good as we have all year. I think we're hitting like 350 in the last 10 games or something of that nature. But I told the pitching staff just like yesterday, I believe it was, we're swinging the bats well and the games aren't good. When we're pitching well and not hitting well, the games were a lot better, and it's what we need to be. So everything revolves around pitching and defense for us, and we need to get back to playing those type of games.
Still on the Delaware series, 21 earned runs from the starters, over 15 innings. What do you think, obviously against a very good Delaware offense, what do you tell your pitchers before that game, before they head out onto the mound?
You don't really talk to him much. I felt like, Teddy really competed. He had a bad break of, outfielder losing a fly ball that turned into a triple, that turned into a 4-run inning. So then on paper, it looks like a bad start, but truthfully, he shouldn't have given up a run in the inning, and, he gets scathed for 4 and loses the lead. And, in turn, that's a tough blow to handle. And then you have, George, who was just pounding the bottom half of the zone, pounding it, and wasn't getting it called for a strike, and I thought that really affected, his psyche a bunch, and as it should. He was making really good pitches and wasn't getting that break at the bottom half of the zone, and then you have Rooney, who is pitching with a 30-mile-an-hour wind blowing out, and gives up 5 home runs or whatever it was, and they got the ball up in there. They're big physical kids, and caught bad breaks, and the thing I'm working right now is to keep their confidence level high and to limit their walks, so when a kid does get a hit, it doesn't need to be a bases clearing double or a 2-run single from 2 walks that they've put on base. And I think they all, as a group, have been just trying to do too much and trying to be the guy and shoulder the burden instead of just go back to the philosophy of get your 3 outs, get to the next inning. Get your 3 outs, get to the next inning.
back on track with a win yesterday on the road against Manhattan. All pitchers for Hofstra in the game did not allow an earned run. What did you see from that game overall?
I think we made it pretty simple. Got the catchers to set up down the middle and just worked on throwing strikes and challenged, a team to put the ball in play. We played in a minor league facility that was a big yard, and thought we've been playing good defense lately. And I thought Weiss set the tempo right after we scored 2 in the first. He came out and threw really well and got back to normal, and then had a good second inning. And Michael James may have had the best stuff he's had all year. It's really confident out there throwing strikes, and George Marrow followed it up, and John Ryan had a nice inning, and Matty had a little trouble there in the 8th, but then had a strong 9th, and just really confident of throwing strikes. The one inning that was a little rough was 2 hits batsmen in the inning and stuff that we caused, but besides then, they pounded the strike zone yesterday, pounded it, and that's what we need to do to win, because they have good stuff and can really compete.
UNCW this weekend, always a tough task. This one, however, is at home. What is the team's mentality going up against a team that has 45 home runs on the year?
Well, right now, it's not a great matchup for us on paper, but the bottom line is this: we're at home. It's a CAA opponent. We've got to win a series. We've got to get ourselves back in the run of this thing, and I think we know the task. Every weekend in the CAA, they always have good hitters. It's just a different opponent. The 9-hole hitter for Delaware had 9 homers. So it's never an easy task. And Wilmington was predicted to win the conference. But the bottom line is it's a home series for Hofstra, and we've got to win 2 of 3.
He's the head coach of the Hofstra baseball team. Coach, thank you very much. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you, PJ.